There are betrayals that happen face to face. And there are betrayals that happen quietly, while you're far away, trusting the wrong people. Mine happened in a hospital room. While I was working offshore, risking my life to provide for my family, my parents abandoned my son in the hospital. Not because they couldn't help. Not because they were sick. But because I argued with my sister. My name is Daniel's father, and this is the hardest story I've ever told. I work offshore. Long rotations. Dangerous conditions. Weeks away from home. I didn't choose that life for comfort. I chose it for stability, for my son. Daniel was 5 years old. Bright. Gentle. The kind of child who trusts adults completely. When I had to leave for work, my parents promised they would look after him. They lived close. They were retired. They had time. I believed them. That belief nearly destroyed my child. 2 weeks before everything happened, I had an argument with my sister. She asked me for money, again. I said no, calmly, respectfully. She exploded. She called me selfish. Ungrateful. Said I thought I was better than everyone else because I worked offshore. I told her I was tired of being treated like an ATM. Words were exchanged. Feelings were hurt. But it ended there, or so I thought. I never imagined that argument would become a weapon. Against my son. I was on night shift when my phone rang. A nurse. She told me my son had been admitted to the hospital after a severe asthma attack. She said he was stable, but then she paused. And asked, "Are your parents still his guardians?" I said yes. She hesitated, then said quietly, "We haven't seen them much." My heart dropped. I called my mother immediately. She answered and said, "He's fine. Don't panic." I asked why the hospital couldn't find her. She sighed and said, "We can't keep going back and forth. Besides, your sister is still upset with you." That's when fear turned into disbelief. Over the next few days, I called constantly. Sometimes my parents answered. Sometimes they didn't. The excuses kept coming. "We're tired. Your father isn't feeling well. Claire needs us right now." My sister. Not my son. A nurse finally told me something that shattered me. She said Daniel cried himself to sleep. He kept asking why no one came back for him. My 5-year-old thought he'd been abandoned. I was thousands of miles away, powerless, screaming into a phone no one was answering. On the 4th night, I got another call. Daniel had developed complications. The doctor said something I will never forget. If someone had been here earlier, we might have noticed the signs sooner. I called my parents, furious, begging them to go to the hospital. My father finally said, "You should have thought about this before embarrassing your sister." That sentence broke something in me. They weren't confused. They weren't overwhelmed. They were punishing me. Through my child. I flew home the moment my rotation ended. Daniel looked smaller. Quieter. He didn't run into my arms. He just asked one question. "Why didn't Grandma come?" My parents didn't apologize. My sister didn't show up. They acted like it was all unfortunate, but unavoidable. That's when I decided this would not end quietly. I didn't scream. I didn't threaten. I documented everything. Hospital reports. Nurse statements. Call logs. Messages. Excuses. Dates. Times. Then I went to a lawyer. Then social services. Then a family counselor. I told the truth, calmly, clearly, without exaggeration. An investigation was opened. The nurses testified. Doctors testified. Social services ruled it willful neglect. My parents lost all guardianship rights. My sister was barred from unsupervised contact. The community found out. The perfect grandparents' image collapsed overnight. My parents cried. My sister screamed. They called me cruel. I looked at them and said one sentence. You punished a child to win an argument. Then I walked away. Daniel recovered, with therapy, patience, and love. He now knows one truth. Family isn't who shares your blood. It's who shows up when you're scared. If you're listening to this and thinking revenge has to be violent or loud, you're wrong. Sometimes revenge is justice. And sometimes justice is the only way to protect the innocent. I didn't lose my parents. They lost me. And my son is safe. That's the only ending that matters. The end.